Hello and good morning, everyone. Good to see you. Paul Trani here. And yeah, this is basically like Adobe Live, how to use Adobe Firefly. That is the goal. It is our new tool allowing you to, it's in beta, by the way, but it's our tool for enabling you to use everyday language to generate extraordinary new content. So everything from AI generated images to fun text, all this cool stuff. And I'm just going to dive into this. So this is going to be a lot of fun. And I'm glad you're here. So welcome, everybody. Feel free to say hi in chat. Would love to hear from you. And also, I'm keeping track of, there we are. Oh, nice. Chat over on, so I want to say hello to Froja, Muriel as well from Argentina. Awesome. Mariah. Is the beta open to everyone? Yeah, everybody, as long as you are over 18 and it is US, well, it's not US based. It is English based, by the way. But you do have to submit. So let's kind of go jump back. Just go to firefly.adobe.com and let me show you what all this looks like. Let's jump in there right now, my friends. And here we are. Boom. Firefly.adobe.com. Let's switch over. Here we are. Firefly.adobe.com. That's where I'm at right now. So this is the beta. So this is where you're going to submit for access. Once you submit for access, we have to go through so many different applications and all this stuff. It's a lengthy process, and I apologize for that. But also, you can join the Discord. So I'm encouraging everybody to do that. That's what I have going on right here. We're just talking about this live stream. So hopefully Valder and actually, let's jump over. Sorry. There we go. Sari and Laura and everybody are joining me today. So those are two ways to get involved. Request access, get in the Discord, join these live streams. So Penny Doodles, I see you there, Penny. Sam's in the house. Yassine as well. Marsha. Yeah, I want to welcome everybody. Oh, here we go. I've been describing myself with keywords to see if it can figure out what I look like. Just keeping it weird into it. Also, lastly, if you're joining me over on YouTube, I'm going to do my best to keep track of chat over there, but, you know, lots of chats going on, so I'll do my best. Okay, so actually I got 3 different chats. Let's make sure this one's working. All right, let's get this party started. So here I am. I already have a plan for what I'm going to make, but I'm going to show you text to image first. So this is where you describe in sort of natural language or in prompts how to, you know, generate an image. So you could see a number of these. You could try any one of these prompts by all means. Like this one is really fun, right? We could try this prompt. What did it take to make that? We'll click on that. And all it is 5 words. Fairy house in the woods. Wow, that's pretty cool. Not quite what I want to use for my project, but it's awfully cool. And let me switch myself over to the other side of the screen. There I go. So I can kind of add to this. I can say, you know what, I like this, but let's go ahead and make a steampunk version of this. So I'm selecting that steampunk style. It adds it right down here, and then I'll click generate, and it will generate sort of steampunk version of this. So typically it'll might alter the color, but look at that. It actually did a really good job adding all that detail. And that's personally, I like my favorite. I would love to hear if anybody is using Adobe Firefly, like let me know your favorite style. Totally interested in what you're interested in. I personally like steampunk because look at, I feel like it just added more detail. And I'm just like, I'm a sucker for detail. So fairy house in the woods, you know, and we could add more to this. Fairy house inside a tree in the dark woods. Let's just try that. Inside a tree. I don't know what that's going to look like. We can roll with that. And I'm just giving you an overview. So here it is in a tree at this point. Oh, much better. Right? So it's like part of the tree trunk. Very cool. And we get different versions of that, which is awesome. What's up, Gustavo? Hello from Brazil. Good to have you here. Feel free to throw out some prompts for me as well, Damien and Garth and everyone. Somebody says dimly lit and dreamy, dimly and dreamily lit slight fog to add something very nice to the image. Ooh, Joan, Joen, what a great idea. Lit slight fog. Let's just see what happens. So I like how this is live and we can just, you know, experiment together is the idea, right? Ooh, so this makes it look much more mysterious. Totally into it. So from there, I can take this and I can download this image. It adds content credentials, just FYI. Not sure if you guys were content credentials, but it says, hey, you know what? This was AI generated. I didn't make this in Photoshop. I didn't paint it. I don't claim to do any of that stuff. I just claim to write the prompt. That's all this is essentially saying. So it applies it. It downloads the credentials right in here. We can see this in Finder. If you're interested, we can go to content.authenticity.org/inspect. And let's take a look at this. When we drag this into this URL, and I'll try to copy and paste this for you guys if I can. But look here, this exposes, this is all the metadata saying, hey, this was created in Firefly 1.0. It's AI generated tool, blah, 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 and the date and things like that. Okay. So that's pretty cool for me. I'm trying to be as transparent with my work as possible. That's my whole goal. All right, now that's one aspect that I'm working on. Now let's get into my project. Is that okay? Because I'm going to spend the next 45 minutes creating something hopefully cool. I want to create some gold and black roses. Let's go gold rose petals, and let's just see what happens. We're going to keep this steampunk, and we'll click OK. Because I have a plan and use a lot of gold and black. I don't know where this came from. I can actually tell you where it came from. But I really like sort of this sort of gold look. Look at that. So cool, right? Really cool. So what I can do is I can say white background, no shadows, and click generate and see what happens there. And there it is. Awesome. Love this. This is what I'm going for. This is what I want to generate, just so you know. Okay, so yeah, Fidea asks a great question about if AI is going to take our jobs. Nah, man. It's like saying Photoshop's going to take my job. Photoshop isn't going to take my job. Who's running Photoshop? Like, who's running the AI? It's going to be me. So continue. There we go. Downloaded that. And just so you know what I'm working on, let's show you guys. Oh, it's a little sneak peek. Let's turn that stuff off. I'm doing this concept of sort of like love conquers all. So it's going to be very sort of neoclassical. It's going to look like, here's all my resources, by the way. You know, black and gold, ancient Egypt reliefs. This is the best reference I have for what I'm working on. Okay, so let's just kind of do a quick search. Just so you know, it's like I'm kind of driving the creative at this point. I want to do stuff like this. I want it to be like this, but I want it to be more of this woman in this classical pose, and she's surrounded by flowers, but you know me, yeah, she's surrounded by bones and skulls, right? So it's this whole thought of, I think gold and black, like the colors are seem like a little bit more eternal to me. And the subject matter sort of like is also very like about love and sort of the eternal view of love. So that's why I have this phrase, love conquers all. This is it in Latin. So that's going to be part of my design as well. So here this is. First off, check this out. Marcia. Um, check this out. I'm going to turn on content credentials. Boom. Content credentials. I'm basically going to turn this on. Says, hey, you know what? It's going to attach all my information saying, hey, to this, for this Photoshop file, this is Paul's content. This is what he's working on, right? Here's all of it. Let's preview it. It says, hey, you know what? This is the data that gets attached to it, right? So here's Paul's information. And then keep in mind, by the way, there's already assets over here off to the side. So ignore those for now, but this is what I would use. Like, so check this out. Like, I'll take that file. Here it is. Remember this guy? I just made it. Now, again, this is for personal use, but I'll take this and I'll drag it in here. There it is. Now it's in Photoshop. Okay, let's go to preview. We could see my information, but if you scroll down, right here, this shows the attribution this asset has attribution and history data. So I'm just keeping all of this metadata saying, hey, these layers were created with AI, and then there's other stuff that's created with stock, etc. So that's what I'm doing. All right, so that cool? We're gonna make gold. So that's the idea, right? That's what I have. Cool, here's my flower. Showing some magic of Photoshop, jumping in here. This is why I made this a white background, so I can go to the Properties panel and select Remove Background. Bingo, removed the background. Again, personal project. I know it removed the watermark. It's personal project. It's personal. I'll take this and I'll convert it to a smart object. And now we have our roses. Let's call it roses. And there it is. Beautiful roses. And then we have some text, which I'll get into in a second. Or even now, shall we? Let's get into it now, huh? Why not? So let me know what you guys think. I'm basically going to be making a ton of assets that are gold and black, and it's going to be awesome. So would love to know what you think. But I'm hiding everything else that I was working on. So I can make some more assets. There's one. Going back into Adobe Firefly. You know what I'm going to do next. Gold and black skull. Embroidered. Let's see what happens with flowers. With flowers. Gold and black skull with flowers. Gold rose petals. White background. Let's click generate. Let's have some fun. Let's keep it personal. We're keeping it personal today because it's a personal project. And there we are. Look at that. Pretty much what you'd expect. I'll modify this a little bit, by the way. Let's just go skull with flowers, generate. Let's do this a couple times because that's typically how I work. Okay, so not bad. Not bad. We could play with some of the styles. In fact, that's what I'm going to do right now. I want to play with some of the styles just so you guys get familiar with how this all works. Okay, color and tone. Yeah, keep it warm. Lighting. We want dramatic lighting. Let's throw a little composition in there. We're going to do close-up, right? So those are the three properties that I've edited. And now we'll click generate and see how this changes. All right, let me know. Yeah, so this is looking pretty cool. You know, in general, this is great. You know, it works out just fine. This might help my ideas. I think this one here shows a good idea of the dramatic lighting, the warm tone, and close-up, right? So it takes all those properties. Pretty straightforward. Right. Cool. Cool stuff. All right. Let's take this a step further. and do some other things. In fact, I have a number of other objects. Let's do a cherub. And vines. There we go. Golden black cherub with flowers and vines. Let me know if you have questions. I'm keeping an eye on chat. Look at this. Look at how awesome this is. That's what I'm talking about. That close up, little bit of a blurry background, totally into it. If it's steampunk, great question. Where are the gears and brass goggles? That's awesome. So your goal is to really play with some of these settings, by the way, because that's what I would do. Jump in here, right? I can make this look more like a photo. Watch what happens if I say, for instance, turn on synthwave and turn off steampunk. We'll get an idea. We'll get a splash of, let's remove dramatic lighting tune. We'll remove warm tone and we'll click generate. Synthwave is probably going to give us some blues and some pinks, but we'll see how that interacts with our gold color. And yeah, it's not bad. There we go. So this is maybe usable, but that's what synthwave does. That's what vaporwave will do largely, but you get the idea. So I encourage you to kind of play with all of these. And yeah, that's your goal. Just play with these and have some fun and generate new content. All right. There we go. That gives it more of a cartoon look, it looks like, maybe. See, it gives it a cartoon look. It's actually outlining some of these lines. So that's what's happening there. Okay, cool. Let's turn that off. Yeah, that's right. We're going back to steampunk. We're going to add our white background. No shadows. Generate. Yeah. Fide asks, you're a bit confused how AI will look in the upcoming years. That is a great question. It's gonna coming months actually. It's gonna just get better and better. Okay, so I've downloaded that cherub. I thought I had a skull, so we'll just go back to skull. But let's take our cherub. We'll open up Photoshop. We'll have some fun with this. We'll drop in this cherub. What did I do earlier, by the way, in Photoshop? I did a magical remove background. So right in here, remove background. It removes, yeah, almost everything. And this is a case where, yeah, I need to do a little bit of cleanup. So there's different ways to do this. I don't know what you guys like to do. I'll probably use just the quick selection tool, and then I'll just start clicking, or even the magic wand tool, and make sure it's sent to contiguous, and just start clicking in some of these areas and then filling with black. So I'm just doing some cleanup right now. If you're so brave, if you have that sort of dexterity, you could maybe use a brush, and we'll come over here and just kind of eliminate some of this. We'll make sure that this is a hard round brush, and then kind of trim that up like so. Okay, let's do this one more time. There's our cherub. I'm sure there's spots I've missed. I can fix those, but we have a couple things that I can work with now, right? Smart object, cherub. There we are. Our text. What about our text? This text is so boring. Can we all agree? You guys need to call me out. Like this, I know I just started on this, but this text is just, you know, not working. It's not, doesn't have the decorative look that I want. And I could still use Photoshop to try a bevel and emboss and give it some satin overlay and then, you know, sort of color tint it somehow, right? I could try to make that gold. It's probably not going to work out too well, right? So rather than doing that, I want to take this one word and we'll show you the next thing we want to do. And by the way, let's grab the skull. Wait for it. Download. Download. Yeah, General Kenobi. Yeah, cherubs are always, they're supposed to be chubby and just, you know, really well fed, really healthy, really well taken care of. This one, like you said, this one works out. Look at this one. This one definitely works out for sure. Okay, drag this in here. Boom. Same process. Let's get it going. Remove background. And there's sort of like just 3 elements to play with as I start to add text. So let's work on some text. Just check it out. Okay, ask for a bright green screen to see if that would work. Let's do bright green screen background. Let's see what happens. I've picked white because I know I want gold, and I know I'm using black, so I just picked the opposite of black. Okay, so this is what we get. Looks like in this particular situation, since it's a metallic, we're getting a ton of a reflection. So yeah, green screen isn't going to work. Okay. My biggest feedback for the team right now, by the way, is like, give me some transparency. Watch what happens if I jump in here and just do transparent background. And let's turn off close up. Let's do transparent background. You guys ready for this? Sean, you're probably not going to like this. But please, team, like, so it tries to, so it knows that transparent squares are light and dark gray. So it gives you this. That's not going to work either. So it's like, please, can we have true transparency? And can I download a ping file? Let's try this. It's not going to work, by the way, Daniel. I love where your head's out. What's up, Daniel? Good to see you. Avoid. I mean, at the end of the day, we're still going to be just downloading JPEGs. So I'm not going to get transparency. It's something that needs to be fixed on the back end. But avoid background, right? Doesn't avoid the background. Okay. There are a couple things that we could still do. So yeah, that's why I'm showing you all these tips for removing, doing a background removal, cleaning up images, things like that. So even right in here, it didn't do that good of a job, right? Double click. Let's double click on this layer mask. Now we're inside here and we could use this brush, come in here and just paint just with reckless abandon. Honestly, a lot of this stuff is going to be really small, even right in here. Yeah, I'm just using the refine edge tool to just jump in there and get all that junk, right? You know, I could get a little bit more exact right in here. Probably want to actually paint that black, but let's just go ahead and hold down the Option key, zip, Option key, zip. Yeah, good enough. They're much better. Ba-boom, ba-boom, boom, boom. Okay. All right. Let me show you something so awesome. Are you ready for this, Carol and everyone? I want to do a gold and black flower pattern. So that's what I'm typing in. Gold and black flower pattern. Check this out. Generate. I said make me a pattern. Make it good. And there we are. Check this out. This, yeah, this is usable. This is going to be awesome. Click continue. It actually made this repeating pattern, which just blows my mind. Check this out. Bring that in there. Boom. What do I have to fix? I do have to fix this part right down here. So excuse me, Command T, flip horizontal, ga, 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 invert, brush, white. Good enough. So there that is. Let's convert this to define this as a pattern. And there's our pattern. Let's just see how it worked out. Provided I did that really fast. Let's go into our patterns. Let's take a look right down here. Let's click on that. Yeah, it made a pattern. We do have some ridges in there, which I'm not crazy about. But horizontally, look, it did a pretty good job. Right here, it looks like we're off a little bit. But again, that could have been my issue. I made this one earlier. Let's turn this one on. This one, again, almost makes a perfect pattern. Some little spots right there, but overall pretty good. So I'm pretty excited about it. Cool, cool. And we're back. Let's adjust the scale of this. Like that. There we go. Oh yeah, fancy background. We're doing things. All right. So yeah, to answer your question, hopefully that answers your question. It can generate images that are tileable. It depends on a number of variables. Obviously, I picked a pretty hard case because it's like you're using, anytime you include reflection and lighting and stuff, it's hard to, if this was just a flat pattern that wasn't gold, it would do a much better job. So I can make this a white and black flower pattern. In fact, we'll go in here. I mean, you guys, happy to try this. Let's do a vector look, generate. You'll see it do its thing. Right. So there it is. Right. And we can test that out, but it's going to be better off that way. Okay, so showed you patterns, show you how to generate images. By the way, if you are using Firefly, just hit the back arrow and it's going back through your history. So I can actually go back to those previous elements that I was working on. Here I tried transparency, here I tried the green, here's my cherub, which was my best example, right? And then from there we can do, say, wings. And that's how I would generate a bunch of elements for the design that I'm working on, okay? Look at this. Come on now, people. Look at how cool this is. Look at this. Perfect for what I want to do. All right, fantastic. Created that. That's so cool. Cut it out like I've done already. You guys have already seen that process. So let me show you where I'm at today with a lot of this. Here we go. Here's a bunch of flowers. All done that exact same process. Here's all these gorgeous flowers. I decided to make a heart. So here's a heart, right? And here's all my elements. Here's another decorative element that I don't know what to do with. Let's talk about one more thing, and then I want to get into type, because if you do a golden black beautiful woman. So let's talk about people with flowers and vines. Let's just see what happens. So thank you. Marcia says, you know, sometimes there's bizarre noses and teeth. Here's what it generates for people. It actually does a pretty good job so far. The more complex it gets, it's just going to get a little bit awkward, right? Gold and black, beautiful woman, gold crown. Let's give her a crown. We won't worry about the white background. Let's go with highly detailed. And we're just going to have some more fun with this. Let's do full body, gold and black wings, highly detailed, full body, and let's click generate and see what happens. I'm trying to break it is what I'm saying, but I'm also giving you a vision for ultimately what I'm going to create, which is something like this. Like, I like this look. Do things get a little wonky? Yeah, 100%. Look at that, the eye gets a little wonky there. But otherwise, this is not bad. Let's turn off close-up. Thank you so much, Daniel. Daniel said remove the close-up setting. Good call. And let's click generate again. I think that anytime you have close-up, it tends to kind of like blur the edges, gives you this shallow depth of field. But this is more along the lines with kind of what I'm looking for. Full body, gold and black flowers and vines in the background. You guys are so smart. I love it. If you guys are over on YouTube, just keep in mind I'm keeping an eye on the Behance chat. So look at this. This is what I'm going for. Like this, just gorgeousness. I'm going to download it. I'm like, yeah, face gets a little funky, but overall, you know, it's going to mean sort of maybe using parts of these or just using these as a way to kind of storyboard, right? Or conceptualize what I want to create. So that's what I'm doing with this sort of step, right? Actually, this one is not bad. Let's take a look. Jump out here. Photoshop. Drag them in. Ba, 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 ba. There they are. Cool. What size is it outputting the images as? Great question. Let's take a look. Image size 1024 by 1024. What you can do, and that's a great point because I often think about my subject matter will sometimes determine the aspect ratio, but that's 1024 by 1024. If we go to widescreen, gold and black, large wings, that's what I'm talking about. Look at this. Let's take a look at this now. Widescreen is going to give me more resolution. And let's check that out. 1792 by 1024. So I personally think a clear giveaway for most AI is its lower resolution, right? But that's going to go away with time. But overall, this is cool. So it's like, this is just a good like concept that I want to use for my design. All right, let's go back to what we were working on. We're gonna get to that woman in a second, but I'm gonna have to do a lot of work. We'll go back to our text. Amor. Let's take the word amor. I want that to be part of my design. Well, what can we do? In Firefly is we have text effects as well. Question about the use. I understand that we can't use it for sale. No, you cannot use it for sale. What if you want to use it to generate an arm and props with this? Sorry, I'm mumbling. Anna, so it's not for professional use. You could use it for personal use. What I would say, if you're going to add it to your portfolio, this is what I would say. I would say, hey, I got these images from Adobe Firefly. So if you're transparent with your portfolio, saying this is where this is generated, you're good. Like, but again, just so you know, stuff that you're not allowed to really use this professionally. But yeah, you could, Paul talking, I'd use it for your portfolio. Be very transparent with how you created it. That sort of thing. All right, so let's type in some text. Again, we can use any one of these. Ooh, we could take, have I used that one yet? Let's try a fun one. Let's try this one. Selecting any one of these, it'll generate colorful, shaggy fur. From there, you want to change it. So you want to change this to Amor. And what are we doing? Actually, let's do all caps, A-M-O-R. This font is absolutely atrocious for what I'm working on. I'm going to go old school with the John Warnock font, one of our founders, and have it generate that fur. Not, again, what I'm going for. So what do we want to do? We want to do shiny gold and black swirls and flowers. Let's see what happens. Generate. Okay, so Silent Sound says it's nothing as revolution as you thought. I think you're probably just seeing this right now, which I would argue, let's have a race. Like, show me any other product out there that does this. Look, it did the spelling correctly. Oh, imagine that. Like, this is amazing, and there's nothing out there that does this. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure you could do it otherwise, but I literally did this in like 15 seconds. All right. I'm not crazy about the background. Let's go ahead and, oh, look, transparency. Thank you so much. But this is amazing. So this is the groundbreaking part, and I think this is what you're looking for, Silent Sound. Can you change the font used after Firefly has done its stuff? You cannot. This is your selection. Right, again, we're only in beta. The goal is to hopefully open it up. What's nice, since this is from Adobe, we have the entire Adobe font library at your disposal. 17,000 plus fonts that we have able for you to use as a Creative Cloud member. So this is only the beginning. So yeah, sure, but it's not commercial. Yeah, good luck using anything AI related commercially. Like, good luck with that. So nonetheless, I like this. I like these swirls, by the way. Let's play with some of this text effects right over here. And again, we have all these settings up here if we wanted to try any one of these other sample effects. But I want to go to, this is my favorite, is going loose. Maybe it'll work for what I want. Actually, before I even do that, I'm going to download this. So I just end up downloading a lot of images. But I'm going to try this now loose. Loose is going to mean all these little swirls and stuff is going to kind of pop out of there. Yes, Stian, there's no Comic Sans. How dare they not include Comic Sans? What? Can we talk, like, real talk here? This Postino, this is freaking this is the serif version of comic. This is comic serif. That's what this feels like to me. This is such a ridiculous font. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so look at that. We get all these swirls. Gorgeous. So nice. Let's go ahead and download it. It's pretty cool. All right. Highest resolution possible is not that much. You know, you might be thinking of print. Let's take this some more, and I'm glad you guys are asking all these like great questions. Size is really only going to come down to 1024. It's going to be that 1024 range. That's why what I was doing is I'm doing each of these like one word at a time. So let's put her over here. Turn that off. Put her away. Boom. So I would do just one word at a time because if it's, you know, the whole phrase, I'm not going to have the resolution that I do now. And yeah, I wish the resolution was higher. And we feel ya. I feel ya. You know what? I'm not here. Let me show you a pro tip. You ready for this? I'm going to show you something awesome. So this is why I'm glad you're here, Sam, Marsha, especially our regulars and everybody, especially if you're new. Outline strength. There's a couple prompts that you can do, a couple of variables that you could do. You could do outline strength equals 1. This adjusts the creativity on text effects. Higher number will give you a tighter fit to the outline. Lower numbers will give you more swirly effects. So this is, again, something that we have not told you about, but I want to try. So again, lower numbers are going to give you more swirly effects. So let's try that right down here. This is bonus content. They said lower numbers. We'll do 1. Outline strength. Generate. See what happens. Varun, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. We got to get you an invite. We have to get you. Look at that. Talk about those crazy swirls. So there is more you can do than just these 3 buttons. In fact, personally, what this needs to have a slider from 0 to 100. But look at that. That is crazy. And that's why I'm glad you're part of this live stream, because this is new content that nobody knows about. And I hope it's okay that I share it. So Jason asks, is there a list of usable prompts for us to copy from? Just so you know, that stuff is always changing, and we're literally like developing the the UI as I speak. So there's not a list. There's only a couple that I could share, which is this one and this one. Avoid, green. That's what I could type in there. So there's the avoid, and then there's the outline strength. Those are the 2 that are available for public consumption. Try some other prompts. Maybe they will work, FYI. They might. But really, our goal is to make it easy, because really, I don't want to be a prompt, like a prompt engineer. Is that going to be the title of the future? I don't want to be a prompt engineer. I want to be an artist. I want to be a designer. And I just want to use prompts as my tools. So there we have that. Hopefully that helps. This has gotten really crazy. Did I download it? I don't know. There that is. I'm going to now take the strength up to, let's jump it back up to 70. Because I think that's just going to be a little bit too crazy. I could be wrong. And let's change the word. That one's kind of boring, isn't it? All right, let's take this back down. 20. And do its thing. Yeah, thanks. So the UI does help. There are other other variables that you can play with, but give them time. One thing I also didn't show is right down here. We can kind of pick from different styles as well. At least what I've done in the past is I will do a variation of a number of these characters and mash them together. Let me show you an example really fast. Let's go into, say this, for instance. So you can download those. Thank goodness they're ping files with transparency, which is awesome. But here's one that got a little nuts, but that's the idea. Into the abyss. So I was using all these different little letters. Sorry, this is really confusing, but let's just go ahead and do that. There's my S. Here's the other half of those letters. And yeah, just a fun little concept. All right, back in here, we have a more. It's looking good. This is not for commercial use. This is just for fun. Let's grab some more text. Download it. You get the idea. Yes. Good old Skipper, you mentioned there's more value to it than just saving time. It also has the ability to expand your creative input, like based on like what you're working on, which I agree 100%. 100%. And that was the goal of, there's Omina. that was the goal of this design right here. It's like, I know what I want. I want this like goddess-like figure, kind of think Venus, you know, Aphrodite, this goddess-like woman that means eternal love sort of situation. I wasn't expecting this. And what I'm surprised about here is like all this jewelry and kind of her outfit. So, Omnia, Omnia. Sorry, Omnia. Sorry about that. I misspelled that. Okay, so. Oh, brother. Thank you. Thanks, thanks, bud. I clearly misspelled that. What was I thinking? Let's download that. So yes, it's only as good as your spelling. How about that? Vincit, is that correct? Hopefully that's correct. Should mean, basically what we're saying is love conquers all. Oh, it's so sweet. Such a sweet demo today. Man, I want more time. Give me more time. There it is. Taking our letters, opening up Photoshop. There's our storyboarding image, if you will. Take these two, drop them in. There they are. Work it, work it, work it. I must hurry. Amor. So remember, this one I really had a lot of the details expanded. So right over here, the outline strength was pretty strong for this more. And you could start to see it does get cut off. So that's a situation where it's like, it seems like I'm going to have to do some cleanup on this. So I should have that dialed in a little bit more just so I don't have that situation going on. But otherwise, it's pretty neat. Okay, there that is. We have our text. And our elements. Let's take a look. Let me know if you guys have questions. Oh, it seems like an ad for perfume. Haha. Penny, you nailed it. You are right. That's exactly what it seems like. This is what I'm working on. Like, so the thing is, like, just to kind of talk about limitations, here's some wings that I was working on. There's going to be some limitations. Let's actually turn on some of these concepts that I was working on. This is what I used earlier. And every time you download an image, the prompt is the file name. So here we could see that this is a golden black, beautiful woman, gold crown, golden black wings, highly detailed, full body, all that stuff. So that's why I was just dragging those layers, those images in here and dropping them because it's going to retain the layer name, therefore retaining the prompt. So that makes it just a lot easier for me, right? So there's my concepts. Let's turn on some of these. Here's some additional assets that I was working on. So we have a heart right here. We have a ton of flowers that I get to work with, all generated from good old Firefly. And let's take a look at some more elements that I have. In fact, I like this one. Look at this heart. Sort of wanted a realistic looking heart that is going to be inside of, say, the ribs. Let's take a look at the ribs. Here's the ribs. So now it's sort of my job as the designer to kind of come in, take these ribs, and start doing my compositing. That's essentially what I'm going to be doing for this project. Take this, drop it in there, right? Put it in there. You'll hardly be able to see it, but you know what? I'll know it's there. Good old Firefly, right? I know, Jan. I thought it was new too. Oh, thank you, Garth. Thank you so much. So yeah, by all means, like train the image. Even as I start to take a look at some of these, oftentimes the hands, like this situation right here, we're losing her arm. So this is where I would come in and say, hey, you know what? That was not so good. I would probably, missing an arm. And it will have issues with different body parts. But you might find one that you like. Like this image might be one I actually want to use. So check this out. You ready for this, Varun? Check this out, buddy. I want to use this image. Click right up here. Use this as a reference image. So that's going to be my reference image. It puts it right down here. And then it'll start generating based on this as being the layout. Right? So now we have all these different versions that I can work with. Again, the hands are always going to get a little weird. So check that out. Isn't that cool? And again, this is like brand new as of last week. So very cool what you could do. You could adjust the sort of more strength to the prompt or more strength to the reference image, and it'll adjust accordingly, which again, I think that's awesome. Usually this is where we get, like, why can't can I upload my own image? I would love to be able to. The problem is we know people are going to be like, I think what the problem is people are going to be uploading artwork that is not theirs, trying to regenerate something and calling it their own. So how can we like do our best to protect artists? Like, that's the thing. Don't use other people's artwork. Like, I can't come in here and I can't add, any sort of Thomas Kincaid. I don't know why I'm using him as an example. Kincaid. It's not gonna use him, but yeah, it probably ignores it altogether. I'm surprised it doesn't flag it, but I can use Van Gogh. Public domain, it'll do its thing. You get the idea. Okay. So that's that. How did you make the reference image? I did not make the reference image. I just made it based on this prompt right here. So look what it's doing. I added Van Gogh in here, and look at these flowers. Even though it's respecting the gold and the black, these flowers start to look more Van Gogh-like, right? More impressionist, if you will, right? So that could totally work, and I'm totally into this image right here. So cool. Let's go ahead and download that image. Right, so I'm just kind of getting ideas for what I'm working on. Yeah, so yeah, you'll just keep hitting refresh. Andrew in the house. What's up, Andrew? Good to see you, buddy. I'll be live streaming with him on Wednesday, FYI. Yeah, Jan, to answer your question, yes, we can take responsibility for how people use our software, right? We could do our best. Like, you can't load up an image of money, like a dollar bill, because we don't want people counterfeiting money, right? So we could do our best to be, a responsible company, as responsible as possible, while still giving you creative freedom. So yes, we're not going to just let people go nuts if we can help it, because we're here ultimately trying to protect artists is the goal. Yeah, top left, let's use select similar, use as reference image, copy to clipboard as well. So we could also do that. Come in here, paste it in, there it is. And keep in mind, we'll open up content credentials, which is again, just another way to say, hey, you know what? How was this image created? Yeah, because when I publish this, I want everybody to know exactly what I did to make it and all the hard work and all the images that came that were used in this as well. Oh, it did not keep the content credentials for that one. But you can see right here for my text, look at that. There it is. That has attribution and history data and stuff like that. So I think that's just like really cool. That's all. It's just really cool, man. I just like, I want to, you know, I want people to know what I did versus, you know, what I had the tool do. I'm sorry I don't have a great image, but I have so much to work with right now. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And I'm so excited. And really my job is to, you know, work in Photoshop and still sort of execute based on the vision I have for this project to make something cool. And yeah, does it look a little bit like, it's starting to look like, what's that, Affliction brand? It's like Affliction cologne. That's what this looks like. If that Affliction brand made cologne, this is what you'd have. But anyways, that's pretty much my time. I guess I have 30 seconds left. Yeah, Marsha, you're so awesome. I'm so excited for how this is going to turn out, by the way. I'm excited that I have all these assets and then I just get to go nuts. I don't have to do all this heavy labor of pushing pixels around, and I get to be more like the art director in this situation and really make something awesome. So I'm super excited about that. So keep in mind, just keep an eye out for me on the social medias, and you'll see what I end up making. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Appreciate you guys. And we'll see you on Discord too. Thanks.